Hailing frequencies open, and welcome to Star Trek Discoverage, the live podcast that boldly goes into excruciating detail about this week's episode of Star Trek Discovery. I'm your host, Aaron Coker, a.k.a. Caliban, and we have to start a movement to stop the most lethal and bloody entertainment in the galaxy, Caecilian opera. Sopranos have a 100% fatality rate. It's barbaric. Joining me on the show, as usual, is my co-host. She's also the co-host of the Generations Geek podcast, a more or less family-friendly celebration of geekdom on the Chronic Rift Network. It's Ella Pearson. Ella, welcome back.
Hi, thank you. You know our catchphrase.
That's right. Well, I've done this a couple times, yeah. How was Europe? You just got back from Europe.
Yeah, I was in Portugal for like a week. It was really, really fun. It was gorgeous. I got to see and touch the Atlantic Ocean for the first time. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Is this one of those things? Is there any learning on this trip, or is this just one of those schools out?
No.
So fool's out. Yeah.
School's out, and plane tickets in Europe are very cheap.
And that's the way it goes. Okay. Well, great. Well, I know that you're excited, so let's get on with it here. Also joining us on the show tonight is Dave Gallanter, author of multiple Star Trek novels and short stories, including the 2009 Pocket TOS novel Troublesome Minds and the 2015 novel Crisis of Consciousness. Dave, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's very good to be here, and it's good to talk with both of you as usual.
Yes, it's good to have all of us back on the show once more. And it occurred to me, Dave, that you joined us over a year ago for the first episode of Season 1 of Star Trek Discovery as well. I think you're our official first episode guy at this point.
Well, hopefully there will be many more seasons with which we can do that then.
Yes. That's how we're going to kick off a season, have Dave hit it with a champagne bottle, and off we go. I was on your Twitter, Dave, and I saw that you have a few Trek ship models, and specifically you got the new Enterprise Discovery model.
I do. I am not a model guy, but I have the original Enterprise through Eagle Moss, the 10 or 11-inch deal, and I liked the Discovery version of the Enterprise so much that I got that as well. Yeah. They are the only two Star Trek models that I have, and the reason for that is if I were to get more of them, I would want all of them.
Yeah,
and I can't afford that. I don't have the place to put it, and my wife would frown at me.
All of those things that you just listed, that's the eternal struggle.
Yeah.
Well, also there are little children in my house, and I have to keep them up high because they, of course, want to play with them and fly them and all of that. And those are a nice chunk of change.
Yeah, they're not toys; they are models. I have my eye on the.
That is correct.
I have my eye on the Ambassador Class one, actually. Dem nacelles.
See, this is the problem. They're all really, really nice.
Yeah. And
you do sort of want a collection of them. Although I will say I really like the 10, 11-inch models better than the other ones, just so that I can see them from afar, because they're across the room there.
Yes. Well, it's an excellent product, but we're not sponsored by Eagle Moss, so we're moving on. The Trek world has been rocked by news item after news item in recent days about new developments in Trek. And at this point, let me count the shows that they have in development. They're working on more short treks, we heard. A Picard show, a Lower Decks show that's animated, another animated show for kids, a Giorgio show. They talked about Starfleet Academy show, I believe, is still being produced. What do you guys think of all of this new Trek that is coming at us in a wave?
Well, I'll tell you this. I think that there is a shared universe out there for them to create in. I think it's the same sort of. I think they're trying to go for what Marvel has established, both in movies and on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which is this, and actually, the CW has done this with their Arrowverse shows. I think this is how television is going, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm not even a big lover of Section 31. But right. I can totally see and will totally watch an Emperor Giorgio show, and I can see where they can take that character in interesting and not necessarily horrible directions. So I'm looking, because she's a bad guy, essentially.
Yeah.
Ella, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to ask Ella what she thought of a Giorgio show.
if I'm going to be completely honest, that announcement made me a little nervous because I think that show, you're going to have to write it really well.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope they have some good ideas. But just in general, with all the announcements of new shows, I feel like my brain is just protecting me. It's like all of the Star Trek news. It's like we're just going to put that over here and just not think about it until something actually happens.
Right.
Because I'm so like over here is all the Star Trek stuff, and then slightly to the right of that is like things that are important, like homework and class and like just generally walking without running into things.
Yeah, well, I guess those are all important too. Yeah, I've heard across the Trek sphere people being somewhat concerned, specifically about the Giorgio show and whether it will, continue to uphold the values that we appreciate so much, to the point where Newsweek, and I mean it's Newsweek, it's a garbage outlet, but they had like a headline on an article that was like, "New Michelle Yeoh show determined to finally kill Star Trek optimism," and people were like, "Okay, let's find out what Boyeon Kim and Erica Lippold think about that." And Erica Lippold tweeted in response to that, "Oof, that is not what we're aiming to do. We will never lose sight of what Star Trek represents." So it feels like it's in good hands.
I don't see how you would change the Star Trek universe just by having this one sort of character. I would think, and I don't know anything about the show, I would think the show is more about how they change her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it's an entire federation. And this person finding sort of their way in it in a different way of life.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I would assume that's sort of the direction that they're going. So I didn't look at that and say it's not going to be optimistic.
Yeah. Ella, what do you think?
I've got no idea. I would definitely watch. I would watch the show about like her trying to be evil, and at every turn is just another like cute Starfleet cadet being like, "Did you know that Captain Kirk said that?" Like, and well, obviously not, he's not
Right.
big yet, but like I would watch that for sure. And then
She's
her
like,
just being like, "Oh, every turn."
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Ensign Pollyanna. She goes into her quarters
Yeah.
and it's just people hanging upside down. And yeah. I don't think it'll necessarily be that bad. I think she could probably crack some heads and then maybe learn a little bit too. While we're on the subject of Section 31, and I promise we're going to get to tonight's episode. How does everybody know about Section 31? We've seen in the previews of what's coming up in the season, Pike's like, "Oh, Section 31, pretty great." Wasn't that? Does something happen to the perception of it or people's knowledge of it? Because when it shows up in DS9, nobody's heard of this thing. Like, Bashir has to get on the computer for a while and look around before he can even like find like hide nor hair of this secret organization.
I think Pike is just kind of a show off.
he just has the in. He just knows.
Well, was Section 31 in DS9 part of Starfleet? I thought it was just a Federation thing, and
yeah, I think
it seems to be part of Starfleet
right.
in this era. And my guess is that it goes in and out. Maybe sometimes it's part of Starfleet and sometimes it's not. And if it's not part of Starfleet, it becomes more covert, I'm guessing.
Interesting. Yeah, Pike's like, "Oh yeah, they offered that to me, but I didn't really want to."
Yeah.
I'm gonna go those cool uniforms.
He's like, "They called me and they said I would probably have it, but I said no. That's not good enough."
Yeah, I got things to do. Yeah, sorry about that. Well, tonight we've seen the premiere of the second season of Star Trek Discovery, Episode 1, Brother, and we're here to break it down for you. And before we start, as always, of course, we're setting a course for the spoiler zone, so be warned, listeners. We're glad you've decided to join us, but if you haven't seen the episode, spoilers are incoming. The official synopsis for Brother is, the crew of the USS Discovery joins forces with Captain Pike to unravel the mystery of 7 mysterious red signals that have appeared across the universe. Or I guess galaxy in this case, but they say universe. It was written by Gretchen Berg and Aaron Harberts, who are the former showrunners for Star Trek Discovery, and they were also writers for Season 1. And Ted Sullivan also wrote this episode. He's a co-executive producer and writer for Discovery. He co-wrote the first season episode Lethe, along with Joe Menosky, and he wrote the episode What's Past is Prologue for last season, which was the last episode of the show's Mirror Universe arc. And the show, of course, was directed by Alex Kurtzman, who is the co-creator of the show, and he's pretty much the Star Trek czar right now. So what did you guys think of Brother? Dave, why don't you tell me what you thought?
I really enjoyed it. I was kind of blown away by how much I like Pike. And while he is not the Pike that we saw in the cage specifically, he's a version of him because I'd actually watched part of the cage before viewing this. Mm-hmm. And the guy he was in the cage was just coming off this sort of, I mean, he was at a life-changing point, deciding what he wants to do with the rest of his life. It was after a battle. He had lost people. He was sort of depressed.
Yeah.
And obviously in the 3 or 4 years since, he's found himself. Yeah. And it made me really like Pike, quite frankly, more than I did in the cage.
Okay, sure. Yeah, he's a little bit of he's a cowboy now. He's kind of having fun and ruffling feathers out there, like he says.
He's a little glib. He's pretty wise. He trusts his people, and he's finding his way with this crew. And I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, I did like his openness with the crew, especially after, and they make a point of this in the episode, having such a secretive captain who's sort of manipulating them. And Tilly brings up his file, and he's like, no, everybody, look at my bad grades. Look at the whole thing. You'll notice, though, that he did walk in front of it after that initial thing, so we didn't see the next couple pages of maybe all the trouble that he got in at the academy or like what fetish porn he's into. Like that, he covered that part up. But, yeah, I like the fact that he's being open with the crew and wants to gain their trust. Ella, what do you think of the episode, or of Pike in particular?
I mean, honestly, impeccable TV. Amazing episode. I'm a little nervous about the Red Angel thing, but we can talk about that later. But we'll it's so funny that both of you guys liked Pike so much, because I hated him. I still might hate him.
Really? Okay.
I don't know what. At the beginning of the episode, I was like, I don't trust him. Something's wrong with him. And then he only started to get on my good side when you see him try to run off of the transporter pad to help Burnham.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then he rescues her. And so at the end, then when he was in Lorca's office and he was like, why aren't there any chairs? Right, I was like, okay. Because I feel like he would pass the psychopath test and Lorca would not.
Right.
So I have hope for him, but right off the bat, I was like, "You're the worst," and I want to punch you in the face.
Did you pause? And read the fortune cookie piece of paper that
I did
was
read
left
it,
on the floor? That was a very telling little fortune.
Yeah, wait, I didn't write it down though.
It's something to the effect of not every cage is a prison, and not every something is a something.
First half, exactly right.
Not every nice blonde lady you meet it looks like that or something.
Not every cage is a prison, nor every love eternal or lost eternal.
Lost eternal. Okay.
I just pulled it up. I paused it. Not every loss is eternal.
Yeah, that seems,
I like it.
Yeah, it seems like a cage/menagerie type call out. It'd be better if his fortune cookie said, be sure to check those baffle plates before they blow up in your face. But anyway.
That's a little too much foreshadowing. That's very direct.
It's just a fortune. That's all I'm saying. I thought it was fine. I thought it was just fine. I think that it distills, like I was telling my girlfriend as we were watching that, it's kind of like the most Discovery it's ever been. It's like they took every sort of high point or every sort of action thing or sort of tense moment from Discovery and distilled it all down into an hour. And it was, the whole thing's an hour. And I guess I'm looking for more of these quieter moments and these more sort of introspective kind of things, which still kind of wondering if that's what Discovery aims to deliver. Based on this, no. And then I was looking back and thinking about, what do I want him to do for the first episode of a second season? Have Burnham get impregnated by an energy being and then have a baby, like in TNG? Not great.
They're setting up the story for the season, obviously.
Yeah.
And I will say I do like the humor that is being presented. It's something that wasn't high in a lot of last season. Although I thought they missed an opportunity. When Jet Reno asks her, where have you been for the last 10 months? I really wanted Burnham or where were you 10 months ago? I really wanted Burnham to say prison.
Yeah,
That
right.
would have been so good.
I was on the inside. Yeah. Well, let's just skip right to talking about a new character that we've met here, Jet Reno, amateur surgeon or surgeoneer, maybe. I really liked the character. I really like seeing Tig Notaro. I'm a big fan of hers. Do you think that she
Me
will
too.
continue? Do you think we'll see her in the future? Because she doesn't really come hang out
God, I
at the
hope
end of the
so.
episode. Yeah.
I hope she becomes a member of the crew.
Yeah.
Me too.
So
I also just love Tig.
well, yeah. So I'm trying to. We also find out that Stamets plans to step down, but of course, it seems like he can't yet because of the emergency situation. But he also seems like he's sort of stepping back a little bit. So, in his role as an engineer, do you think maybe Jet will step in and pick up kind of the things that he's not doing?
Well, he's not an engineer. He's a he was the Spore Drive guy, and I don't think he did a lot of engineering stuff. I think they had an engineer that we didn't see much of. And in the preview for the season, that they showed after the show, there is, I guess, at least one Spore jump. So obviously they need him around for that.
Yeah. I just going off of what I said before about there just being nonstop action, I found like the pod sequence to be extremely boring. And I know that was the opposite of what they wanted me to feel, but they set this thing up and it's clearly designed to eat up, X amount of minutes and be exciting, but none of them are going to die, except also that the asshole guy is going to die because Lieutenant Asshole.
Because he's not listening to Burnham.
Yeah, but
I wasn't bored by it, but I found it confusing. Visually confusing.
Just visually confused, like what was going on. Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah, I couldn't keep track of it. But that's a problem I have with a lot of CGI TV and movies today. Is my eye isn't sure where to look.
Yeah, because
it was also it was literally it was exactly the scene from JJ Trek where they
go
do the jump onto the drill, onto Nero's drill.
Yeah. Or
and
the scene from Into Darkness where they go onto the Dreadnought.
Yeah, literally in JJ Trek, Kirk is telling the guy's name is Connor, and he's like, "Connor, pull your chute," and he's like, "No, I got it." It's the exact same thing.
Oh yeah, it's a brother or something like that. Or it could be the same guy, alternate universe. That's right. Yeah, Kurtzman loves.
That's right. It could be the same guy.
We're falling really fast scenes, I guess. But so anyway, I just that didn't dramatically that didn't interest me. What did interest me was I really liked the rescue scene after they get hooked up with Reno and they find out that she's keeping all these people alive. And they've got to get everybody onto the gurneys and get them in there. And you kind of know, okay, so they're going to get everybody off, but Burnham's not going to make it, right? So we'll go off of that. Even knowing that, I just found it interesting to see them working together and kind of doing this thing that you wouldn't. I didn't expect to tune in and see them beaming a bunch of people on hospital beds to another ship, but I thought that was cool.
One of the things I liked, by the way, is that the transporter room door is keeps closing,
right.
And Pike goes off screen for a minute and comes back with a really big pipe.
Right.
I mean, he's not ordering someone to do it. He's going and doing it himself. I really like that.
Yeah. And he comes back to grab Burnham, of course, at the end after they blow up that set real good.
Mm-hmm.
So in that moment, or just before that moment, Burnham has a vision of something, and it's this thing that we've heard about that's apparently called the Red Angel, and nobody knows what it is. What do you guys think it is? Dave, what do you think it is?
It looks very alien to me. In fact, the first pictures of it that I saw, it looked like a giant alien eye, sort of a Sauron eye. But, they have it in the opening titles. It looks much more like a humanoid figure with wings. Yeah. I mean, who knows? You can't tell. They are definitely, it looks to me like they're going to drag this mystery, I'm guessing, the whole season.
Yeah. Ella, do you have any prognostications?
No, I mean, I had this weird moment while I was watching it because I was like, oh my God, that's an alien. And I was like, why? Why am I
the show's packed with
shocked? But I mean, it's either an alien or it's like a person wearing wings. So
it's the Vulture from Spider-Man.
Yeah, wrong universe, but okay. Yeah, I wondered myself. A lot of people have speculated that it's something that we've seen before, and nobody's said yes or no on that. I think it would be kind of disappointing. I know that they like their fan service, and of course, this entire season is going to be kind of a riff on the Cage. But I'd really like it to be something different. And it seems to be, if the Angel is connected to the signals, which I guess we can assume that's true, Spock seems to know something about the signals as well. And so I wonder what the connection is between them and the Angel and him. Does anybody have any...
What struck me was that when, by the way, she basically goes and accesses his private logs, his personal logs.
Yeah.
Which I was totally thinking, yeah, I guess a big sister would do that, but rude.
Yeah.
But he apparently, drew these signals, embedded the signals in this message.
Right.
Didn't Pike say he's been gone for a few months?
He said
that's before the signals showed up.
Yeah, he said that he could be away for months and months and has been gone for a while, yeah. I just wonder why he doesn't use a password to lock his computer. Like, I thought Burnham would be like, Logic 69?
Why would it be 69?
No, it would be the name of his most
Sorry, Logic 47, sorry. Ella, what did you think about the absence of Spock? To pring.
Well, when I was expecting, it's called Brother.
Yeah.
I was expecting Spock, and then as soon as we see Connolly, I was like, oh, of course, why did I ever think we were going to see Spock in this episode?
Yeah.
Obviously, he wouldn't immediately make an appearance in this episode. For my own for like selfish reasons, I'm glad they're easing us into it, because like we just have that like audio log now, and so now when he's actually on screen, it won't be as much of a shock for my system.
Right.
Well, we did see a lot of him as a kid.
That's true.
Oh my God, that baby,
little Spock. Did anybody, by the way, when he throws up this ginormous, what looks like a sea creature, holograph that's going toward Burnham, did anybody else hear in their head Vulcan shark do 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 do? Because I did.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay,
now
you're
to
fired.
My apology. I'm sick. I have a cold. I'm on cold medicine.
All right, he can't be blamed for anything. Yeah, I liked his little 3D Etch-a-Sketch kind of thing. But so, do you guys think that that sea creature, whatever it is connected to the Angel and the signals and the mystery and the hey and the ho?
I don't know about that.
I'm very confused by that.
Or is it just a scary thing to do?
Well, he said that his mother told him to sort of draw his the things he was afraid of. Yeah. And I think Spock is well, we know Spock is kind of tortured. And I also find it very interesting that Sarek has a better relationship with her because she is human. He accepts a lot more of her humanity than he does from Spock. And I think that's fascinating. Coin a phrase.
Yeah. I was thinking about that as she was talking to him, and they were talking about Spock, that, whatever happens, they're not going to reconcile, at least not yet, not on Discovery, because we've got all the way till Journey of Babel before they really kind of mend fences. Ella. Are you there?
Yes.
Ella's still
there.
Ella, Michael Burnham, is she at number 1 Michael Burnham or number 10 Michael Burnham in this episode? How much Burnham is she? I
mean, how do we define Burnham is the question. Well, I think. Wait, is 1 the highest or is 10 the highest?
I think 1 is the lowest and 10 is
1 is the lowest,
and 11 is above 10.
Okay. I mean, at least a 7.
Yeah.
I would like some more, like, patented Vulcan sass.
Sure, yeah.
I would like to because I feel like last season when she spoke, it was like that girl grew up on Vulcan. Like you were like, you ate family dinner with Sarek, and I know that you did.
Right. Yeah.
But as always, Sonequa Martin Green, a treasure.
Yeah.
A gift to watch on screen. I'm very excited to see like when she sees Spock. I'm excited to see her then this season.
Yeah, I thought that it was it's tough to do. You've got a lot to establish, and they've got to get the whole plot of the season going forward. And they do show, last time on Star Trek Discovery, but it's hard to remember sometimes that like they just left Earth. I guess it's been a couple days or a week or so, but she's said goodbye to Tyler, and they've got the whole thing with the Klingons and everything. So she's coming off like a lot of stuff, and so she just seemed really sort of amped up and really emotional. And I have to imagine that the subtext is like, boy, if I could just hang out with my brother, who I sometimes talked to when I was a kid, like that would be something centering for me. Because wow, the whole universe is kind of spinning around me right now.
It makes me so sad.
Oh no. Keep it together.
Oh man.
Let's see.
Tilly and Michael.
What's that?
I said this is going to be a rough season for me and Michael.
Yeah, Michael's always got it rough. Tilly's back, and she is, of course, in the command training program. And it looks like they've kind of got her paired up with Stamets this year. What do you guys think of that combo? It seems to be something they went to in the first season.
It's a proper combo because she is also is it a mycologist? Is that what it's called?
Astromycologist?
Astromycologist. Thank you. And so I think it was, I forget where I saw it, but didn't she? I mean, she specifically, I thought, wanted to work with him. So I thought it was very touching that she didn't want him, to leave. And I thought that was a nice moment. And I thought her telling Burnham that was a nice moment.
Yeah.
So I love them together. I love that she talks so much, and he is totally willing to just say, "Yeah, stop talking so much,"
right?
Because they're comfortable with each other.
Right. Yeah. Ella, how does the new Tilly look to you?
Perfect, as always. I do. I like what she and Stamets bring out in each other. But I want more of like when she got nervous, like scanning Captain Pike's hands. Like I want more of her talking to like other people that we haven't seen her interact with before.
Right.
Did you say scanning his pants?
No, his hand.
Oh, okay. All right. That's my ears are plugged.
For the new uniform. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping that, I don't think we ever will, but I was kind of hoping to see Commander Nan again, but who knows if that'll happen. And just for me, like, Discovery bounces around a lot, and of course we focus on our sort of main characters, but I was glad that Pike was like, okay, everybody just say your names, just so we just know who everybody is. And for me, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, Bryce. Okay, that's that guy's name. Okay, it was like a little refresher for the audience as well. Did
you notice that Ariam just refused to not state her rank? Like everybody was just like, oh, okay, we're just doing names, all right. And then she was like, Lieutenant Commander Ariam, like,
to give rank.
Thank you very much.
Well, does she have a first name?
I don't know.
That's a good question. Not that I've ever seen. Yeah,
I did like Saru just saying Saru.
Yeah, Saru.
Just Saru.
That's all. I'm not human.
Also, I liked. I don't know if this was a nod to Geordie LaForge, but they had a guy with like a Cyclops visor type thing who was beaming people around.
I noticed that running the transporter.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I'm assuming that was some sort of some prosthetic or a visual aid. Anything else?
Ella, were you disappointed that Pike didn't mention women on the bridge?
Oh yeah. It's probably best to just let that go.
He's passed that over. It's been 4 years. So.
Yeah. Or like ask Saru, like, so you got a cute yeoman, or how does this work? Do you guys have anything else in the episode that was worthy of a shout out that you could think of? I can get you started. I like the fact that they opened with images from Cassini. I thought that was kind of neat.
That was kind of neat. Although I got to tell you, as much as I love Burnham, I could do without the slow, sort of soliloquy that sometimes it starts and ends with.
Yeah.
I kind of wish it would just an more ending with that, would punctuate the episode. I did like hearing, of course, Space the Final Frontier and all of that, but I don't know. It seems, until you know what the episode is about, it sort of seems out of place.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. And I think that, I don't know if it's just Kurtzman episodes, but I think that the show has a tendency to be a little overwritten sometimes. They're very nice words, but like you said, maybe we could just open with amazing pictures and sort of understand, okay, yeah, I see what we're doing. We're referencing humanity's history of exploration and stuff like that. But she did tell that cool sort of folktale about the creation of the universe by the little girl.
Yes.
Did that remind you guys of Black Panther?
It did.
Oh,
It totally
yeah.
Oh my
did.
God! Right. The first scene of Black Panther. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that I think it makes sense that Burnham uses like candles to like chill out in her quarters. But I was like, wow, that's a lot of fire for a ship in an enclosed space. No, it's okay. They're hollow candles.
I would kill for some hollow candles.
I know. I would get that for my wife for her birthday for the bathroom.
I guarantee it's coming at some point. Anything
Do you think
else?
they're scented?
What's that?
Do you think they're scented?
Well, they must be.
Yeah, the scent is Vulcan sunrise.
Right. It just sprays out of the wall. Like it's either poison gas or Vulcan sunrise. It's your choice. Anything else that we missed in the episode?
I wrote down.
Go ahead.
I wrote down just the look Pike gave Tilly when she was babbling, because he gets this look on his face when he starts to realize like what her deal is. That's just like perfect, because it's the way like every one of us would look at Tilly if she just arrived. Like he just starts to be like, "Oh my God, you're perfect."
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the look on his face was, well, you're adorable.
Yeah.
And she is adorable.
I like their Running Man suits that they got into when they were getting into the pods. Everybody comes out in these like solid colored jumpsuits. I thought those were kind of
The metallic jumpsuit's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, did you notice that the when it's a spacesuit, the thing that curls around you had sort of a cutout on it, with circled, rounded edges that to me looked like a lot like a take on a more modern take on the original spacesuits that they had on the original series.
Oh, okay. The
I
big
didn't
square head ones, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have the square head, obviously, but
Right.
it's this I don't know, molding or something
Yeah.
that was on it. I thought that was a nice little nod.
Yeah, I can see it. Well, let's see. Usually we have a forward-looking segment at this point in the show, and I guess it's a good idea, instead of asking who's going to die, to ask just what do you think is coming up? Who are the lights and the angel, and how is Spock involved? How are they going to get that asteroid out of the shuttle bay? What do you think that the overarching meta plot is here? And I will get you started. It's not a good one, but I think it's time travel. I think that I can't believe they've gone this long without bringing time travel in. I know we had the magic to make the sanest man go mad and all that before, but I'll try to give you more details as we go on, of course, but I think somebody has come back from a thing or come forward or something like that. That's what I think, because Saru does have a thing where he says, it could be black holes or something like that, the way that they're all sort of signaling at the same time. So I think that some sort of time travel is involved. Ella, what do you think?
I have no idea, and I'm so the whole like red angel prophecy vision thing is making me very nervous.
It's very fairy tale-ish, it's not.
Yeah.
I think it's okay for Star Trek to do that, but usually it's something a little more concrete and scientific.
Yeah, I'm concerned in general. And can we talk about the shot of Spock like in like a mental ward, or like he's wearing like those white scrubs?
Right. And then he's doing the Vulcan kung fu and everybody.
Yeah.
Do you think Red Angel, Red Queen, a la Alice in Wonderland,
Ooh,
off of somebody's head?
nice.
Or is that the White Queen?
I hadn't thought about. No, that was the Red Queen. I hadn't thought about that. I'm just assuming that the angel is not actually an angel. That there will
Yeah.
be a scientific explanation here, and it's not a some sort of a mythological sort of a thing that's happening. You know, it's not Apollo or something like
What
that.
does God need with a starship? Yeah. Dave?
The finale episode of the season, it's literally an angel. Like,
Yeah, right.
just Christianity confirmed.
Well, supposedly, this is off topic, but supposedly on the rebooted Battlestar Galactica, they were kind of writing as they went, and I think you can tell in the later seasons. But at one point, they wanted to have like Starbuck fly into like a wormhole or something, because everybody's talking about God, and then she meets a guy. It's Dirk Benedict, and he's like, "Hi, I'm God. What's up?" So they rejected that. They shouldn't do that, I don't think.
I'm glad they rejected that.
Dave, what do you think about what is coming up?
My hope is that this, while the Red Angel thing and the signals are a mystery to be solved, I really am curious about this relationship with Spock and Burnham, and I hope that's more of a focus, because I'm curious as hell as to why she said something to the effect of, you know, they were close for a while, and I really want to know what happened there.
Yeah, she broke into his computer.
Well, yeah, she read his diary.
Right. Boy, Dirk Benedict is my God. Let's just be honest. Well, that's it for our show this week. Thanks for joining us, listeners. And if you like what you hear, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at EISTPod for updates and to get notified when new episodes of both Enterprising Individuals and episodes of Discoverage are released. You can tweet to us on the show using the hashtag Discoverage or email us at eistpod@gmail.com. And while you're on the internet, why not head to your listening platform or pod-catching software of choice and subscribe to our show. Give us a rating and a review if you think of it, because it really helps us out. And also, I wanted to mention that we've got merch. You can check out our T-shirts available on our TeePublic store. Search for Just Enough Trope. That's our parent network on TeePublic for our snazzy Trek wear. And if you really want to support the show, stop by our Patreon page at patreon.com/EISTpod. And if you like the show, tell a friend. Discoverage will return next week, January 24th, for the next episode of Season 2 of Star Trek Discovery. I don't think we have a title yet, unless it's 2.2, but it will be directed by Jonathan Frakes, which I think is pretty good news.
Yes, a good sign, for sure.
Yeah. We'll go live as soon as the episode's over, give or take a few minutes, so please join us then. In the meantime, you can check out our main show, Enterprising Individuals, at enterprisingindividuals.com. Every Wednesday, I and a guest will discuss in excruciating detail a selected episode from a Star Trek series. We also have news from the Trek sphere, updates on Star Trek Discovery, and of course, all the new Star Trek shows that are coming out and in development. And we have interviews with special guests, and now's a great time to catch up on the show. We're just about to start our 4th season, so check it out at enterprisingindividuals.com. Dave, as always, thanks for joining me to talk about this episode. Remind people where they can find you online.
I am at Dave Gallanter on Twitter. You can probably find me and friend me on Facebook. And if you go to Amazon.com, you can look up my books just by putting in my name. Thank you again for having me. It's always lovely to talk to both of you.
You as well. And yes, please go check out Dave's books. He's got a great book that deals with Spock. Ella, where can people find Generations Geek?
You can find us at Generations Geek on Twitter, generationsgeek.com. And if you want my angry feminist film student rants, you can find that at Gondar Gold on Twitter.
Sure. What's that sounds great. I'm going to do that right now. But what's coming up on Generations Geek?
Let's see. I will be talking about my trip to Sherwood Forest.
Oh.
If there are any Robin Hood fans out there, which
Sure.
If there aren't, there should be. And many other things. Many other small geeky outings in London
That
for
sounds
me.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check that out at Generations Geek. And that's it for us. Thanks for listening. And we are signing off. This is Aaron for Dave and Ella saying live long and prosper.